Leafs Nation, I'm going to be real with you. This is one of those moments that just hits different. I'm Victor, and we just got confirmation that Auston Matthews, our captain, the face of this team, had knee surgery and is expected to be out for about 12 weeks. And just like that, the rest of this season changes completely. Because let's be honest, this team was already struggling. But losing Matthews like this, that's not just about production on the ice. That's emotional, that's psychological, that's the kind of thing that can shift the entire direction of a locker room. And now, on top of that, there's already talk around the league that this situation could actually open the door for something much bigger, like the Leafs potentially sliding down the standings and putting themselves in position for a top draft pick, maybe even a shot at a generational talent. So think about that for a second. You lose your captain, your season starts slipping away, and suddenly the conversation shifts from competing to what the future might look like. That's how fast things can change in this league. And that's why what's happening right now is so important. Because this isn't just about an injury. This could be a turning point for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But before we break all of this down, if you follow this team every day like I do, help us reach 200 subscribers. Just hit subscribe and be part of the conversation. Because right now, Leafs Nation has a lot to talk about. Let's talk about what just happened, because this is the kind of news that completely changes everything. I'm Victor, and the Maple Leafs have officially confirmed that Auston Matthews underwent MCL knee surgery, and he's expected to be out for about 12 weeks. And yeah, that's basically the rest of the season. Now let's go back to how this all started, because a lot of fans are still frustrated about it. This injury came against the Anaheim Ducks when Radko Gudas stuck his knee out and caught Matthews in the offensive zone. You saw it live. Matthews goes down, slow to get up, clearly favoring that left knee. And right there, you already had that feeling like, this doesn't look good. And it turns out, it wasn't. Grade 3 MCL tear, quad contusion, and now surgery to repair the damage. Gudas ended up getting a 5-game suspension, but let's be honest here. A lot of people around the league, and especially in Toronto, didn't feel like that was enough. You had criticism coming from inside the organization, from players, from management, even from guys around the league like Connor McDavid questioning how these situations are handled. And I think a big part of the frustration, as a fan, wasn't just the suspension, it was what happened right after the hit. Because there was a lot of backlash about the Leafs' response in that moment, or honestly, the lack of one. Yeah, they scored on the power play, but emotionally, physically, it didn't feel like the team reacted the way fans expected when your captain, your best player, goes down like that. And that stuck with people. Now, to be fair, since then, the team has shown more edge. There's been more physicality, more pushback, fights in multiple games, guys stepping up, like when Morgan Rielly dropped the gloves after contact on Joseph Woll. So you can see that shift. But for a lot of fans, it came a little too late. And then there's the biggest part of all this. What Matthews actually means to this team. We're talking about a guy who had 53 points in 60 games this season. The captain. The face of the franchise. The guy who changes how opponents defend you every single night. You don't just replace that. You don't just adjust and move on like nothing happened. This changes your offense. This changes your confidence. This changes the entire identity of the team for the rest of the season. And yeah, the timeline says he should be ready for the start of next season, which is obviously a huge relief long-term. But right now, this season just took a massive hit. And as a fan, it's hard not to feel frustrated, because everything that could go wrong this year kind of has. At the same time, though, there's also that part of you that starts wondering what this actually means moving forward. Because when something like this happens, especially in a season that was already slipping, it doesn't just impact the present, it starts to shape the future. And that's where things get really interesting. Because with Matthews out and the team in this position, there's already a conversation starting to build about what this could open up for the Leafs in the bigger picture. All right, Leafs Nation. So this is where things start to get really complicated, and honestly, a little uncomfortable to talk about. I'm Victor, and with Matthews now officially out, there's a conversation starting to grow that I don't think a lot of fans were ready to have. But it's real, because the reality is, without Matthews for the rest of the season, this team could drop even further in the standings. And if that happens, there's suddenly a very clear path for the Leafs to be in position for the first overall pick in the 2026 NHL Draft. No, Marad. And yeah, That means a shot at a player like Gavin McKenna. Now think about that for a second. We're talking about a potential generational talent, the kind of player that can completely change the direction of a franchise, just like Matthews did back in 2016. But here's where it gets tough as a fan, because the only way that becomes realistic is if this team keeps losing. And that's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The season was already slipping, but now, without your captain, without your best player, the psychological impact alone can hit this team hard. It's not just about goals or assists. It's about confidence. It's about belief. It's about walking into games knowing you're missing the guy who usually changes everything. And when that's gone, things can spiral fast. There's even a real sense that winning games down the stretch could become much harder, not just because of Matthews being out, but because of what this moment represents. And at the same time, there's this weird silver lining. Because now, the Leafs actually have an opportunity to look at their younger players. We've already seen guys like Jacob Quillen and Bo Gruel get some chances, and honestly, this might be the moment to give even more prospects a real shot. Let them play. Let them prove something. Let the organization figure out what they actually have moving forward. And as much as that sounds like a development phase, it kind of is. Because when you step back and look at everything together, Matthews out, the team struggling, young players getting opportunities, and the possibility of a top draft pick, it starts to feel like something bigger than just a bad stretch. It starts to feel like the beginning of a reset. And that's where this connects directly with what we talked about earlier. Because on one side, you've got your captain, the face of the franchise, going down with a serious injury, ending his season and leaving a massive hole in this team. And on the other side, you've got the possibility that this situation could actually lead the Leafs into a completely different direction, one where they might land a future superstar and start building something new. So, what does that tell us? This is a shock, decisive moment, for the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is one of those turning points where the organization has to figure out exactly what it wants to be. Do you try to fight through this and salvage something, or do you accept where things are and use this moment to reset, evaluate, and build for the future? And as a fan, that's not an easy place to be. Because yeah, there's frustration, there's disappointment, there's that feeling of, here we go again. But at the same time, there's also a small sense of hope. Because if, and it's a big if, the Leafs handle this the right way, if they develop the right players, make the right decisions, and take advantage of this opportunity, this could actually be the start of something better down the line. Now it's just about what they choose to do with it. So when you really put everything together, Leafs Nation, this isn't just about an injury anymore. This is about the direction of the entire team. You lose Auston Matthews, your captain, your leader, your biggest difference maker, and suddenly the season takes a completely different turn. And at the same time, that opens the door to a scenario where the Leafs could actually benefit long-term, but only if they go through some real short-term pain. And that's the reality we're facing right now. This moment is not decisive. Because what happens from here, how this team responds, how management reacts, how the organization handles these final games, it's going to shape what the Maple Leafs look like next season and beyond. And as a fan, I think it's fair to feel both things at once. There's frustration because no one wants to see a season end like this. But there's also that small sense of hope that maybe, just maybe, this could be the reset the team needs to finally build something stronger. Now I want to hear from you, Leafs Nation. Do you think the team should keep pushing to win no matter what? Or is it time to look ahead and think about the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read a lot of them. And this is one of those moments where every opinion matters. And if you're enjoying this kind of real, honest Leafs talk, go ahead and like the video and subscribe. Let's grow this together.